Mount Vernon City Council meeting for Wednesday, August 27th, 2025 to order. The time is now 7:03. Would you please stand with me for the pledge of allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to ask the city clerk to please call the roll.
Councilmember Beaton. Here. Councilmember Brocksmith.
Here.
Councilmember Currius.
Here.
Councilmember Hudson.
Here.
Councilmember Molinar.
Here.
Councilmember Tercero.
Here.
Councilmember Vanderstoot.
Here.
Item 2 is the approval of tonight's agenda. Council, any changes to tonight's agenda?
I would like to request that we mix up the new business, put what is currently A at the bottom, and then move B, C, and D up.
Councilmember Hudson mixing it up, moving item A to the end of the new business items. Is there a second?
Second.
Any more discussion on this? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion passes. So we will put the presentations, we just have a little bit of business to do before that. I won't promise it'll go quickly, but it will likely go quickly. We're going to move on to community comments, item 3. If anyone's here to address city council tonight for something other than a 1590 affordable housing sales tax grant presentation, please come on up to the podium. And please state your name and your city of residence and keep your comments to about 3 minutes, if you would, please.
Okay, I guess I'll go first. Robert Knoll with Puget Sound Energy, 1660 Park Lane in Burlington. Just wanted to come say hello to you all tonight. And you have a PSC City of Mount Vernon electric franchise on your agenda today, and want to urge you to vote yes on that. And really, franchises are the way that we work with the city to operate in the public right-of-way, and also work to protect our and benefit our customers. And so we really appreciate the work that you've done to come together with PSC to make that happen. I do want to thank specifically Frank Reinhardt, Kevin Rogerson, and Chris Phillips for the work on this. And again, just ask you to vote yes. I'm here with my colleague Jackie Sterna as well, who worked on this franchise on our end and among others. And I know that there was a question that we saw come up last week, but that we hadn't hopefully an opportunity to engage with you on regarding tree trimming. So we are here tonight if anything else comes up. But again, just vote yes and appreciate all the work.
Thanks, Robert.
Thanks.
Anyone else wishing to address city council? You may have noticed the timer. It's a new addition up here. So those of you who will be presenting tonight, you'll have 5 minutes, and you have 5 minutes. You'll know when that time is up. I hope that doesn't make people too uneasy, but it's going to keep us on track. Any other council member comments tonight, or community comments for council? All right, we will move on. Item 4 is the consent agenda, and it has minutes, payroll checks, wire transfers, claims, and agreements. And I would entertain a council motion for that.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Melissa and a second by Mary. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion passes. For committee reports tonight, council held its finance and parks meeting tonight at 6 o'clock, and Councilmember Gary Molinar is the chair of that meeting and has a report for us. Gary.
Okay, we opened up the meeting tonight at 6 o'clock, and after the July 23rd minutes were approved, Steve Sexton, our special projects manager, discussed with the council a possibility of the city applying for a 0.1% sales tax increase permitted under state law, and that would go to help fund criminal justice activities. Next up, Doug Beleski, our finance director, gave us, as part of the budget process coming up, he gave us the different fiscal policies that we adhere to in the city, and especially during budget. These revenue policies include enterprise money, budget, personnel, and maintenance, to name a few. Up next, Parks and Recreation, Jennifer Berner and Brooke Presley gave us some updates on the summer supervised playground program. The city has the playground program, which has ages 3 to 13, and you are able to drop your child off at from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and it's Monday, Wednesday at Edgewater Park, and Tuesday and Thursday at Bakerview Park. Lunch is provided each day in partnership with the Boys and Girls Club, who provide the food. This year we had 45 to 50 different youth participating in the program a day, so it was a very successful. Up next, they gave David Davenport, who has been on the staff, recognition for his past 3 years through his leadership mentoring our youth, which is a huge issue in these trying times. Next, talked about the summer camp program. We have an outdoor nature camp. It's 7 weeks and it's themed nature. Youth are fully immersed in the natural environment the whole week. Camp goes rain or shine. They learn skills on how to build shelter, stay safe around wildlife, identify life-saving plants and maps, and compass to find their way in the wilderness. And then after that, we had Mary Thomas, our cybersecurity expert, come in and give us kind of a overview of what's going on in our web these days and how there's been a lot of cyber criminals trying to do ransomware and phishing and advanced persistent threats. So after that, we close the meeting at 5:59.
Thanks, Gary. So last Wednesday at 6, we had our Development Services Committee meeting here, and Melissa Beaton is the chair of that committee. Melissa.
Thank you, Mayor. First up, right after we approved the minutes, we heard of some project updates within the department, some staffing. We had one retirement and then a new hire. Let's see, we've got Judd and Black. They've got a warehouse coming in down on Blackburn. We've got Unity Care Northwest, which is a long-term behavioral health facility, 16 beds. You see that going in up on Division and 18th. And then the update on the Waugh Road townhomes, those are 11 townhomes. Just drove past them today. They're almost done and they're looking pretty good. We got a quick update on our revenue. Our revenue is up $250,000 compared to the same time last year. So that is good news.
That's very good news.
And then, let's see, we heard Community Action has requested the city sponsor their CHIP application. The CHIP application is, it's an acronym for Connecting Housing to Infrastructure Program. This would allow if it's awarded, Community Action would not need to pay the city's impact fees. The state would pay that on their behalf. There is no upfront cost to the city. Then we got a quick update on our comp plan. Both the Planning Commission and our Citizens Advisory Committee continue to work together and working on infill and middle housing. Staff did discuss the ability of the city to accommodate the infrastructure for increased density, so things like sewer, surface water, police, fire, things like that. And then we talked about impact fees, traffic impact fees specifically. We reviewed the city's current fees, the methodology, and comparison between single family and multifamily cost per unit. Single family right now is around $4,900, whereas multifamily is around $3,000. These fees help fund transportation improvements that are necessary for the project. I want to paint a picture for you. Imagine Russell Crowe in A Beautiful Mind, and you have all those algebraic numbers rattling around on the screen, because that's how complex the calculation is when you come up with these fees. It's based on a 20-year improvement plan, which right now is assessed at $115.6 million, with $39.6 million attributed to growth-related projects. Reduce that by 20% to $31.6 million. The fee calculation also considers a split between residential of 71% and commercial usage at 29%, and then there's the trip generation data. There's also an adjustment in there for the CPI and also includes subcategories for reduced traffic generators. So it is somewhat complex. We discussed the possible reduction for developments of multifamily housing based on 20-plus units and 40-plus units. Right now, there's just a break at 50 or more units. It's virtually impossible to compare city to city, as each city has their own unique topography, population, needs, geographic size. The list goes on. Mount Vernon is just above the state average in fees, and cities do not charge, cannot by law, 100% of the cost of service. And then we had some agenda requests. We've got a request for door-to-door sales regulations. We've got a request for zoning for housing encampments on non-religious properties. We're going to hear about the impacts and regulation of kratom. Kratom is an herbal substance with opioid-like effects. And then also we're going to get an update soon on the battery energy storage systems from experts, both pros and cons. And then finally, under miscellaneous, we were reminded we're going to hear about our 1590 presentations tonight. And with that, we adjourned at 7:20.
Thanks, Melissa. All right, item 5B is council member comments. Any council member comments? Okay, I'll go then. 5C is mayor's report. I just got one slide.
One slide, but it's a good one.
It's hardly worth the walk up there, but
Well, yeah.
brief one tonight. Just to let you all know that we'll be meeting tomorrow, August 28th at 10 a.m. for mayor's coffee. By the time it's up there,
Sorry, I'm
no, it's okay.
struggling here.
We're going to be meeting at Bakerview Park tomorrow, 10 a.m. Everyone know where Bakerview Park is. It's located on Fur Street. It's going to be really nice weather, I keep telling myself. For those of you who aren't familiar with Mayor's Coffee, this is a monthly opportunity for you, our residents and business owners, to ask questions that you might have about what's going on in the city, or if you're too shy to ask questions, to just show up and listen to what's going on in the city. But people share their concerns, they share ideas, they come to learn more about how the city works and how residents can work with the city on a number of things. So looking forward to seeing you all there. Well, not all of you. 36,000 would be a lot, but as many of you who are able, I think we can fit you into Bakerview Park tomorrow morning, August 28th, 10 a.m. at Bakerview Park. That's your mayor's report for August 27th. Thank you, Steve. All right, we will move on to new business, and we rearranged this agenda. So item B is the proposed ordinance for a franchise agreement with PSE. Our city attorney, Kevin Rogerson, has this item. Hello, Kevin.
Hello, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor, and members of City Council. Before you is ordinance marked by the city clerk as 3917. This is not the first time you've seen this ordinance. By state law, any adoption of a franchise agreement requires you to do a first reading, wait 5 days, and then you can take action. So we did look at this back on August 13th at a regularly held City Council meeting. Tonight is the night for you to take action if you so deem it, to pass this ordinance, which if adopted would grant a franchise agreement with Puget Sound Energy. By way of background, what is a franchise agreement? Well, it's a fancy word for a contract between the city and a utility provider who needs the public rights of way to deliver its services. That's the core of it. The city, by state authority granted to you, you have the authority to regulate your streets and your roads and your public rights of way. There's a mix between that and the state through its Washington Utilities Transportation Commission, who also regulates utilities that are non-public. However, what it really does is it memorializes that the streets and roads that crisscross your cities and towns that are the backbone for transportation are also critical networks for utilities. So these franchise agreements cover a range of topics, Utilities are either underground typically or on poles, in vaults, and how we're going to co-manage the rights of way so we don't unduly interfere with each other's operations and provide both transportation and utility services in an efficient way to serve the public. You'll see notice provisions, relocation timelines. These are negotiated heavily between the city attorney's office and city departments that are impacted, namely mostly your public works department. In this particular case, the city, through my office and the public works, negotiated a newly proposed franchise agreement set before you in this ordinance with Puget Sound Energy for the installation and operation of electrical energy in the rights of way of the city. It would grant a non-exclusive franchise to set, erect, lay, construct, extend, support, attach, connect, maintain, repair, replace, enlarge, operate, and use Puget Sound Energy facilities in, above, under, along, across, or through your public rights of way in the franchise area, which is basically the city limits as now, or if you do annex during the franchise term, that would increase the franchise area as defined in the agreement. This is solely related to the distribution of electricity. So if you decided to get into the cable business or the natural gas business, you'd have to come back to the city for a different franchise. Similar to other franchises, this includes how they relocate its facilities at no cost to the city if it's as a result of a public work that the city requires them to move. So you have a telephone pole, you need to widen the street. This deals with the timing and the relocation efforts to move that pole so it doesn't unduly delay our project and provides them reasonable advance notice so they can get that work done as well. This is for a term of 10 years. It can be extended for a mutual agreement for 2 successive 5-year terms. State law prohibits the city from imposing franchise fees for these types of franchises. However, they will pay actual administrative expenses incurred directly for approving this franchise pursuant to state law. Again, we've waited the 5-day waiting period, so we can take action tonight. Franchises by state law require a majority of the whole council approval. It has to be submitted to the city attorney. It has been, so it is ripe for action tonight.
Questions for Kevin on the franchise? Council, this is ordinance 3917.
I'd make a motion to approve franchise agreement with PSC for an ordinance 3917.
Second.
Motion by Gary and a second by Melissa. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion passes. Thanks for your work on this, Kevin. All right. Robert, thank you for being here tonight. Moving on to item C. It is a proposed resolution for the sale or surplus of vehicles and equipment. And Fire Chief Brian Harris has this item. Welcome, Chief.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Tonight before you, Council, is a resolution seeking your approval to approve this resolution to surplus a Ford F-450 ambulance, fire vehicle number 33. What that would allow us to do is we turn that over to our shop supervisor, Gary Owens, and he would put that vehicle up for sale for our highest bid. If you recall, we put in service a new ambulance a couple months ago, and that vehicle is up and running, and now we're ready to surplus this one.
Questions for Chief Harris? This is resolution 1081.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 1081.
Second.
Motion by Mary and a second by Edis. Any discussion on this one?
I got one little question. Are you going to sell it and somebody else will use it, or because it says or disposal as scrap? Are you thinking this thing is ready for the scrap yard or what?
It's not ready for a scrapyard. Somebody will purchase it.
Okay,
Are
sounds
you in
good.
the market?
You know, you never know when
I
you
don't
can
think you
need a
can.
new ambulance around your house.
It's got room for a bed in it
Is that right?
and a couch.
Affordable housing.
He is selling it. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Motion passes. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item D is a proposed agreement with a mural artist, and Parks and Recreation Director Jennifer Berners.
Good evening, Council and Mayor. So before you this evening, I have an agreement with an artist for a mural. And so just a little background on that. The building owner of Harmson Land Surveyor's Office there on First Street came to the Arts Commission and said, can you guys help me put a mural on the back of my wall? I'd love to have start something back there. And so the Arts Commission liked the idea. We wrote a lodging tax grant to get money to fund the mural. And we were awarded $20,000 to be able to put the mural on the wall. So we developed a call for artists, and we sent it out to 254 different locations to advertise artists. Some of those are to individual artists, some of those are to artist organizations. And we did receive a whole whopping 2 submissions. But from those 2 submissions, we had a subcommittee that evaluated those. And one submission rose to the top, and that was Mary Iverson. She is actually one of our instructors at Skagit Valley College, and she teaches art there and teaches mural art there. And so her piece was the one that rose to the top from the evaluations. The Arts Commission had an opportunity to meet with Mary to kind of talk through some of the pieces of that submission. Her first one had it outlined with the Lincoln Theater, and people were like, that's too much into one thing, and they wanted it to be more the trompe-l'oeil style, where it looked like it was breaking through the building. And so you'll see that in your pieces that she has sent, that she has refined that a little bit. She's still working on some refining those pieces just a little bit. She's hoping to be able to start the project here in September, and she's hoping to engage students in doing this project as well. And our goal is to have it done well before the end of the year, but she's hoping she can, good weather and all of that, have it done sometime by the end of September, October timeframe. So for you this evening is we're requesting approval for the artwork and to enter into an agreement with the artist for the mural on the wall. And we did have worked with Kevin to create an agreement, since this is really a 3-party agreement, since we are also in agreement with the building owner. And that owner has agreed that that artwork will stay up for a minimum of 10 years. So that way it, since we're using lodging tax funds for that there is a guarantee that will stay on the building for a minimum of 10 years.
Jennifer, is there any way that the public could get a sneak peek of the art? Could we put that on the website?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, great. We'll have instructions on how to do that in
Yes.
the future. Thank you. Other questions for Jennifer? Gary, then Richard.
I know we've had murals before. Are we going to be protecting this one with the special
Graffiti.
spray that so people can't?
That's something we've been talking about, yes, and figuring out, is that something the artist has within her budget, or is that something that will come in and do after the fact? So we did that with the Riverside Bridge project. They just finished putting the graffiti coating on that particular artwork. So it is something that we'll look at doing one way. Either staff will do it or Mary will do it.
That's great. Thanks.
That's part of the rights to the agreement. The landlord will give us, or the landowner will give us rights to repair and maintain the mural
Yes.
for 10 years.
Councilmember Broxman.
Yeah, so this happened before my time, but I'm aware that the city's put a lot of money into those alleys to fix them up, the underground utilities to, upgrade the cement and all that stuff. And that the murals was the original sort of idea to continue to keep them attractive and, enjoyable by the public and all of that. I want to kind of put that context out there for people, that there's a rationale here for all the work that's going on in the city and downtown. And the murals are part of, sort of environmental, criminal control and all of that stuff. And it is tourism and all those pieces. And I also wanted to say how appreciative I am of the Arts Commission and how I think all the murals downtown do so much for our downtown and have made a lot of, it added a lot of value. All of that said, when I saw the sticker price, I guess I'm a little shocked at the price of this thing. And so I wanted to ask if that's a standard price.
Very much so. In fact, that's probably
then
less.
I'm sorry?
It's probably less than what most are put out there for. When we looked up, they were more in the $50,000 to $60,000 range. So that may be why we only got 2 submissions. But yeah, it's probably less than what we see out there.
And so kind of knowing what the price is, it sounds like we're getting a good deal. I guess the questions for me is how much artwork in the alleys is enough? And isn't there a better use of $20,000? So I'm sorry I've got a little bit of negative reaction to this because I think it will be an amazing piece of art. And I think the reasons why we're doing it are really rational and thoughtful and proactive and help the city. So I'm not opposed to it. I just wanted to express to my fellow city council members that that's a big dollar number. And I just wonder how many of these we're going to do and how it fits in. So that's my honest thoughts.
Sure.
Yeah.
I kind of want to address Richard a little bit, just to respond. Art is meant to be a discussion piece. Everybody has their own take on it, right? Although I think this is a really cool piece, there's other things down there that don't really, it's like, oh, yeah, not so much, but somebody loves it and people love it and it's a conversation starter and it might even bring more people to tourism to say, come look at Mount Vernon's Art Walk, as you will, as on a greater scale. So I appreciate what you're saying. Art is not cheap. I mean, you go to an artist gallery and see they're not good artists. It's a talent.
I think there's a thing for paying for art too, and not just wanting it on the cheap, but for paying people for their talent. And that I think sometimes artwork and they expect people to donate a lot of times, and they do a lot of that. And the hope is with the Arts Commission is that, again, it would spur more to happen in that area. And it wouldn't always have to be, something by the city. It could be something they do on their own, or it could be a partnership going forward. It's something to spur that interest and to spur, like, go to Mount Vernon and go look at this, piece of art, that it would spur people to come here and look at that and experience it. Was the goal.
When I visited New Zealand, Greece, Scotland, other places like that, one of the things I always take pictures of are the graffiti. Or not the graffiti, the artwork, the murals. It's one of the things that I remember the most of those places. Oh, New Orleans was the last one. Just like incredible pieces. It's the architecture and then it's the murals. I'm a big fan of it. I think it is a big attractor. So full support.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, I could draw a stick figure. People aren't going to want that.
I'll give you a buck.
For sure. I think it's I don't mean to make light of it. It's a wonderful piece and it is going to add to our downtown. And for so long we heard about, what's wrong with downtown, and it's really coming back, and it's neat to see the art galleries down there. That's not everybody's cup of tea, but it's still, we're diverse. And so, it was a grant. So with that, I'll make a motion that council approve the submitted artwork and that the mayor enter into the agreement with Mary Iverson.
Second, please.
Motion by Melissa and a second by Edith. More discussion?
Thank you. Thank you for this.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. Motion passes. Thank you,
Thank
Jennifer.
you.
All right, we're going to move up to our original item A, which is the presentation from agencies applying for the city's affordable housing grant. And Steve Sexton, our special projects manager, will introduce this item. Hello, Steve.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Staff have invited applicants for the 2025-1590 grant funding cycle to present their proposals to the council this evening. Included in your packet are the presentation order of the applicants and the copies of all the submitted applications and a summary spreadsheet, which I've just updated and emailed to you. Thank you, Councilman Brocksmith. Each applicant, the proposal of their request, the populations they intend to serve, and the requested funded amounts in total, which is approximately 2.2 million compared to an estimated 1.1 million available in funding expected. Any questions on what I sent out or anything else before I start?
Questions about the process, applications, or the new clock?
We're just excited to see the new clock, right?
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, we have 9 applicants presenting tonight. Each has been allotted 5 minutes for their presentation, followed with 5 minutes for question and answer. So that totals 90 minutes of discussion ahead. So I will now stop talking and let you hear from the folks you want to hear from. And first up on our list, we have Greg Griniker from Salem Lutheran Church. And Greg also brought hard copies of his presentation. I'll leave this with our city clerk to distribute to the council. Right up, goes right in line.
Good evening. Thank you for letting us brief tonight. My name is Greg Grinocker. I'm the property manager at Salem Lutheran, and this is Denise from Welcome Home Skagit. We started our project in February, and the purpose was to improve our current building facilities to help those with the greatest needs in Skagit Valley, and also to improve Welcome Home Skagit's support system in our building. Also improve the quality of life for those with immediate shelter, health, and sanitary needs. And then also assist in providing a stable starting point for the homeless as they move on from Welcome Home Skagit. We recently signed a new 3-year contract with Welcome Home Skagit, so they have a stable place to be for the next 3 years. The day shelter right now, it's 6 days during the summer and 7 days during the winter. We support their overnight safe parking program, and also we support their counseling and vocational support training in our building. As of this last year, 9,450 uses of our building by 608 individuals, so it's well used. Other groups that are going to be using our new spaces downstairs, besides Welcome Home Skagit, is the Salem Village Retirement Community Admin Offices. We have a Boy Scout troop, we have a AA group, and then also the Family Promise program of Skagit Valley. We're in month 7 of our 7-month construction. And we are basically done with the project, except for Bay Alarm has to install fire detectors in some of the spaces, and then our final building inspections. We did do a renovation of about 2,500 square feet of the existing spaces that Welcome Home Skagit uses. We put in a central heat and AC systems, new drop ceilings, new drywall, new paint, new flooring. Prior to that, there was no heat or AC in the building, and the floors were all cement. And there was no drop ceiling, so what we put in is similar to this. Our new construction is 1,417 square feet. Next one. We put in 2 family bathrooms. Each has a shower. One's ADA fully compliant, and you can roll in that one with a wheelchair if necessary. We installed 2 unisex or male-female bathrooms. Each has 2 stalls and a sink. We installed a laundry room. This doesn't show the washers, dryers, but it holds 2 washers, 2 dryers, and it has its own dedicated water heater, as long as the shower facilities has its own water heater also. And we expect delivery of those in mid-September. We also installed a conference room, 37 by 17 feet, and that's going to be a multi-purpose room. We're available to Welcome Home Skagit. They'll be able to do their training classes for their clients, and also it'll be a space where medical professionals that support their program can also come in and use that space. And also can be an expansion area for during cold weather operations during the winter. Our building improvements, the total cost was $656,000. $596,000 of that went to the contractors, and 60,000 went to the architect and the building permit, and then some minor building furnishings. Our project financing, $300,000, we pulled from our own funds from Salem Lutheran, $50,000 from Mount Vernon. That was the start of our project that gave it a boost. Salem Village Community gave us a $30,000 grant. We had a $19,000 grant from Skagit Community Foundation. And then we were successful in raising $133,000 over the last 6 months to offset the cost. And the loan cost right now is approximately $124,000, which we're hoping to reduce or eliminate if possible. For the grant request, originally put in for $130,000. We've lowered it to $120,000 since we've made some additional funding resources. It'd be 18% of the total project, and then all funds would go directly to reduce or eliminate the current loan. How would it benefit the community? It allows City of Mount Vernon to participate directly in supporting Welcome Home Skagit and supporting the homeless. It's going to resolve many of the basic sanitary needs by the laundries and the laundry and the showers for the homeless. And it also is going to support the Family Promise Program, which is families and children, not just adults that Welcome Home Skagit uses. And the bigger, broader support, it provides a suitable living environment, benefits the low, moderate income and zero income persons, and also supports persons with the greatest needs, which is a North Star principle, and also benefits the community, families, and individuals, which is a HUD objective. Any questions?
Right at the buzzer.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm glad
Wow.
that you buzzed. Mary?
I do have a question. Your funding request is for $120,000. Oh, okay, for you're asking for just $120,000 once done?
Yes.
At this point, okay, thank you. I've got my notes and I think I might have gotten them a little screwed up, so.
I think originally in our application, we put 130, but we were able to come up with a donation of another 10,000 to reduce that loan.
Thank you.
Other questions? Yeah.
Yeah, so usually when we're sort of buying into a building program, we ask for 50 years of affordability. And of course, this is a church that's offering programs that, that we're helping provide capital facilities for. And so I'm wondering if between you and our attorney, if we have a term or some sort of guaranteed time period that it's available. And in context, though, for that question, I wanted to also recognize the amazing work that your congregation has done in this city, how much supportive we are. And this is just sort of a bean counter question as a public trustee to make sure that resources that we're providing are being used for that purpose for a certain amount of time. That's a responsibility that I have.
There are legal instruments that can be used to guarantee the promise of future performance will be for the funds, up to and including a covenant that ran with the land. This isn't unusual for federal or state grants for similar purposes. That we could negotiate things that probably the council, I would imagine, can find adequate assurances that would be enforceable if needed. Yeah, I think it's doable.
I think our congregation and church would be willing to work with them, under any circumstances that are required to.
And I'm not sure we'd be looking for anything too onerous. It's just to sort of recognize the public input and your public good that you're providing. So thank you for thinking about that.
Typically, if you put a covenant and if they want to relieve themselves from that, you get your money back. That's common in a federal grant situation.
Maybe we can talk about
Certainly.
mechanisms and tools offline, but I hear that you're widely open to something that's common sense there.
Yes, we are.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank you.
Kevin. Good question. Other questions for Greg? Okay.
Thank you for the opportunity to brief.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. And next up, we have Mount Vernon Manor Annex, and Jim Vandermeer is here. Jim.
Well, good evening, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Jim Vandermeer, and I am the president of Mount Vernon Manor Annex and our sister organization, Skagit Council Housing. With me here this evening is April Axthelm, and she's a member of our board of directors and also a former city council person. Thank you again for this opportunity to make a verbal presentation in support of our request for a $150,000 grant from the city's housing fund. Approximately 1 year ago, I also spoke to you in relation to a $20,000 housing grant to assist us with the preliminary feasibility study in relation to a 40 to 44 unit apartment building on our campus at the end of Austin Lane, just north of Skagit Valley College. That request was approved, the work was completed, and the grant was fully funded in June of this year. The result of our feasibility study over the past year was a positive decision by our board of directors to move forward with the next phase of our pre-development work. We have now arranged another professional services contract with Carletti Architects in the amount of approximately $300,000. And we are asking the city to fund approximately half of this amount. We have available cash resources to fund the other half. This contract will complete several important steps for our project. It will provide complete architectural and engineering plans and specs for our proposed 44-unit apartment building. It will complete the permit submission process with the city. It will provide a final cost estimate supported by a construction contract with a local general contractor. And it will provide construction administration for us throughout the period of construction. I would like you to understand a few important facts about our nonprofit organizations and our new proposed project. First, when I was here a year ago, I described Mount Vernon Manor Annex and Skagit Council housing entities as under the radar. Most people in Mount Vernon don't even know that we exist. And yet, we have served low-income seniors in our community for over 42 years. We currently own and manage 101 units at our Mount Vernon campus, all of which are occupied by low-income to extremely low-income or disabled members of our community. Secondly, it's our mission to serve this population, and we do it well. When this project is completed and occupied, there will be no need for the city to police our occupancy to be certain that we maintain the right percentage of low-income residents, since all these residents will always be from that population. Thirdly, by this time next year, we expect to own all of our existing 101 units free and clear of all debt. We are currently awaiting word from HUD to then allow us to refinance those units to help us to fund the construction cost of the new 44-unit facility. Fourthly, if there is any doubt about the need for this new facility, you should know that our current waiting list to move into Mount Vernon Manor exceeds this number of units we'll be building with this new project. And finally, Mount Vernon Manor Annex and Skagit Council Housing are managed by an all-volunteer board of directors. We are a self-perpetuating board, and that means that part of our job as board members is to find our replacements so that these nonprofit entities survive into perpetuity. We would also benefit. We are currently looking for a new board member who has accounting expertise. We would also benefit from having a board member with connections in our Latino community. And we need to find a younger set of leaders who have a heart for our mission. Maybe you know someone who could help us. If so, please let me know. Do you have any questions?
Thanks, Jim. Any questions for Mr. Vandermeer?
I just have one real basic question. I see that your request is for $150,000 for 2 years. Does that mean 75,000 and 75,000?
It could be that way. That would be fine. We said 2 years simply because we don't know how long it's going to take for HUD to give us the
Right.
approval to refinance.
Right.
And things with HUD these days are going very, very slowly. We're finding that in a number of areas. So we would like to make sure that the city would be aware that we may not be ready to pay those final architectural and engineering fees until after 1 year from now.
I see. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
All right, and next up, we have Family Promise of Skagit Valley, and Audra Wall is here to present for you.
Thank you for having us. This is Raymond Faber from West Coast Homes, and Dan, the man of many hats. He's the landlord and the chair of our capital campaign. So Family Promise is a holistic approach to ending homelessness, and in 2024, we served 193 families with an 80% success rate of rehousing families that had entered into homelessness and a 96% success rate of preventing homelessness from beginning. Our cause is rooted in the need. Currently in Skagit County, we have 1,400 homeless children, and in Mount Vernon, that is about 332 annually. We have two requests that we're putting in tonight. One is for our service funding. We're requesting $40,000 for our homeless prevention programs. 42% of the clients that we serve annually are Mount Vernon residents. And then we're requesting $23,000 to support our Mount Vernon Blessing House, which is a transitional house that serves up to 2 families, and our seasonal shelter and regular year-round shelter. Okay. Yeah.
So that was operations. From a capital standpoint, we've taken Family Promise, who's in the Methodist Church and in the Lutheran Church. There's an acre in between, zoned R7, 7 houses to the acre. And we've managed to get through the hearing examiner phase just yesterday. 14 units, individual widely spaced units for transitional housing. So the capital request is for those, for the land, for the permit, civil engineer, the geotech, that's what he wants this week. And then the actual utility installation, that's about $1 million. And then for the houses themselves, the 14, they're modular houses that come down the road from Linden, and we plop them on this site. It'll complete the campus. It'll be a very nice campus with combining the 2 churches where the administrative and the operations are right now, and putting this in between makes a lot of sense. And it serves more than Cedar Woolley, obviously, by bigger numbers.
So this portion of our request is a 2-year request. We're looking for $75,000 for the site work that we hope to begin and hopefully finish this year, fingers crossed. And then $210,000 that would support bringing in one of our biggest units. Slide. So the eligibility for this is families must have graduated our shelter program, which means they must come in with children in custody or be pregnant or on the cusp of getting their children back. Our target median is for below 30% AMI. This will be a supportive environment, on-site case management, weekly, an operations manager. Same thing as how our regular programs work. Slide. One of the big parts of this that has been great is the way we spent 3 years really looking to bring dignity to how our design will look. And so Raymond has been a key piece to that. Guests will be paying reasonable program fees, which will sustain this transitional housing program for the future, allowing us to stop relying so much on government dollars that sometimes aren't there for transitional housing. But in the market that we're in right now, where the housing market is so hard, it's needed. So this will bring a trauma-informed model. It will feel like home. This is not your typical modular home, as you can see in the slide. These are very beautifully built. And I will let Raymond talk about cost and delivery.
Yeah, we build them in Linden. These are not trailers. They're just houses that are small and they're built remotely, and that allows us to keep our costs lower, quality up. And then, yeah, we're able to have less of an impact on the community during the build because they just get moved in and put down. So, yeah, you can see the cost of the units on here on the slide. Our smallest unit has a 400 square foot footprint, but with a loft of 250 square feet. That Bellevue unit's 190,000. We'll be building 8 of those. And then our Colshan unit being the biggest at $210,000 with 880 square feet and has 3 bedrooms. And the medium size unit, the Shuckson, at 650-ish square feet at 185,000.
So this is just a call to action really to sustain family promise within our community and to create more programming for the children in our community who desperately need it right now.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you. Council questions?
I just have one quick question on the 3 different, the Bellevue, I think was the one that had the loft, right?
Yes.
I see it doesn't show that it has a bathroom. Does it have a bathroom?
Yes, it does.
Okay, just double checking. I was
They
like,
all have bathrooms, washer,
It's not on there.
dryers.
I just wanted to
everything
make
is
sure.
within that unit. And one of these units is ADA compliant as well.
Okay, cool.
That's a fair question.
Yeah, just curious.
Or sorry, 2 of the units are
Other
ADA
questions?
compliant.
We're good. We're good. Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Dan, Andre, Lehman, thank you for being here.
Okay, next up we have Alan Muya from New Earth Recovery. Oh, up here. Looks like you guys are.
Myself, great, thanks.
All right. Good evening, council members and mayor. So good to be with you again. A lot has happened since I was here last. You have the project proposal in front of you for Cedar House 2. We're calling this particular project. Things have been going really quickly. I just came from the fairgrounds where we celebrated and remembered the overdose awareness situation here in Skagit County, and our what we do in our homes has everything to do with preventing overdoses, and so it's a monumental day to kind of put these 2 things back to back. I want to just briefly remind you, last time I was here, I talked about the idea of kind of the 3 ways that we intervene with people who are in crisis. First is relief, and the second is rehabilitation, and the third is development. And I reminded you just that the more rehabilitation and development we do, the less resource we ultimately have to keep spending on relief over and over and over again. And so at New Earth Recovery, we are all about rehabilitation and development, so providing longer-term housing opportunities for people in recovery. That said, I also want to say that we are 100% behind all of the proposals that you're hearing tonight. Add to the mix in the county and in the city, and we are just completely behind all of those other proposals as well. So I don't envy your job, I guess, is another way to say that. But when we are where we are with this project, this is the house. And just a couple few bullet points. It's close to downtown. It is, as we planned it to be, it is sitting immediately next door to another one of our homes. And it is designed to house 8 people, about 2,850 square feet. So this is, and we're building it as economically as we can. Last time I was with you, one of you asked, will this be a prevailing wage project? And I scratched my head a little bit, and we said, we'll get back to you on that. The answer is yes. So we're back to talk about maybe another funding round with your help to try to complete the project. This morning, I got this picture. Here we are. That happened really quickly thanks to the really amazing and fast work of our contractor and subcontractors. Then we're very far down the road on the project, and we hope by November that we will be about mid-November be done and have residents in the house by mid-December.
And these are folks, all of whom are in recovery from substance use disorders and working really diligently on themselves and strongly desiring to be really permanent members of this community, giving back to their community. And they do. Just a little funding rundown. You can see here that we are the initial project we thought was going to be around 1.2 million. We've received somewhere around, I'll break it down a little bit, somewhere around $180,000 in-kind donations and discounts from our subcontractors, and plus the other individual donations that we've raised puts us within about $405,000 of our goal to complete the project. And as I'm sure some of my colleagues are in the same situation this evening, anything that we're not able to raise, we'll have to borrow. And of course, that has long-term impact on our ability to run the program that we will run from the house. So the good news is operations-wise, we have, because of a lot of advocacy that we've done at the state level, we have access to funds for at least the first couple years and hopefully beyond to operate the facility. So not coming to you with any kind of operations request, but and I realize that that our request of $400,000 this time around is large. And I understand you've got to weigh that against a lot of other proposals that you have in front of you. That would largely close the gap for us and allow us to start with a clean slate as we start to operate this house in December. So I'll leave it at that, and if you have any questions, be glad to answer those.
Thanks, Alan. Questions for Alan?
Just at the end there, I might have confused myself.
Okay.
So we provided funding last year.
Yes.
For Cedar House 1.
Oh, no, it was this project. I apologize.
Okay,
So this is round 2, where we've raised raised a bit more than what you contributed the first time around, and we're asking for you to consider another round for the same project.
So this project would complete the project that was proposed last year.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. I'm tracking.
Yep.
Thank you, sir.
Anything else?
All right.
Great.
Thanks, Alan.
Thanks, all.
Thanks for being here.
Okay, council, next up, we have United Way of Skagit County, and in your programs this evening, it says Andrew Miller, but we have 2 pinch hitters from United Way. Chuck Messenger and Celeste Mergens are here to present. It's under here. We can get rid of this. The clock hasn't started, has it? How to get rid of that? There we go. I should have listened to you.
All right. Good evening. Thank you, Steve. Good evening, Mayor Donovan, Council. My name is Celeste, and I'm from Mount Vernon, and I have the joy of presenting to you the Mount Vernon Pocket Community Housing Initiative as part of United Way's efforts. I am on the board of the United Way, and we're really pleased to join you in commitment to making sure that affordable housing is available to all of our community members. There it goes. Current housing challenges, as you clearly know well, are rising rents and the gap between wages and rent, and the limited affordable housing that is available that you have so well addressed. Shelters lack long-term stability, and we propose an innovative solution that is proven and pioneering. The grant before you is for $114,000, which will support long-term sustainable infrastructure for a unique community. These sustainable items are to make sure that it can be a community that includes solar, eco-sun, power panels, gardening, and all of these are infrastructure that would support it long-term. The Pocket Community Model is 24 homes that are safe, create high-quality cabins. They have a shared green space and community amenities that are shared. It's a co-op model that fosters community stewardship of the people that are in the community. It's scalable and replicable for future expansion. the community is the priority here, and the cabins are the amenity to this community that supports growing or their own personal resources, so they have the ability to be resilient. Next. Community features, as you can see, are a shared kitchen, which is partly covered by this grant, ADA accessible shower trailer, EcoSun sanitation, water retention systems, a community garden, shared green space, shaded gathering spaces, a pergola, outdoor furniture are two that I particularly am looking forward to seeing it have. Next. Community-driven partnership has already become a huge part of this. We have many community businesses and members who have shown up and shared their time, talents, and resources and their heart to help our community have this. And it's been truly beautiful to watch this list grow every day. Next. The innovative impact of this program is it's these 24 households we lift into the safe, stable homes with long-term affordability built into it, while also creating co-living spaces and a community that's built of sustainable building materials. And it's a complement to the coordinated entry system, providing solutions that are for our neighbors who are not considered a priority by state or federal funding. These are neighbors who have done really well in the community and have been maybe a bus driver, maybe someone who just doesn't have family support, but now they need a place to build up resources so they can get back into the housing that's available. This is an opportunity to suit their needs, and they have gone invisible in our community in many cases. We want to allow them to have that need met. Your support is needed. The City of Mount Vernon's contribution of $114,000 would help us pioneer a program that can be replicated, that can provide affordable housing and strengthen our community. We invite you to be part of this really exciting initiative that's growing every day. Chuck?
Questions? All right, questions for Chuck or Celeste?
I didn't comment that we already have $200,000 in resources and that have already been committed to this.
We're actually over about 250 today.
I stand corrected, 250.
Councilmember Broxman.
Yeah, let me start with the question of the use of these $140,000 funds. It appears that it's purely capital, that you would use this to add in power systems, plumbing, infrastructure, essentially.
Correct.
You already own the houses. They were donated from Bellingham. And so this would be essentially site prep and amenities and all capital, correct?
Yeah, this is all that additional need we need to make this a co-living dynamic. So you'll see on the list there, like the kitchen items, the bathroom items, shared facilities that we need to have for the community.
And second question, this is land that you have control over currently.
The land that the cabins are currently on has only been approved for storage. We have not had we've not been able to tie down whether we need to do a potential code amendment for utilization of the existing land or be prepared to move this entire concept to a different piece of land. That's a conversation for planning, potentially, I would assume for Kevin. But
Yeah.
the whole community right now is designed so that a forklift and two guys can pick up the whole thing and take it anywhere at any time.
So I'm not trying to pin you down on that, but to recognize that any award would be contingent on a permanent site and authority. And regardless of where that is. So Godspeed.
Of course.
And then I guess my third question was, do you have, I think folks who've been around these systems long enough know that the easy part is getting the buildings and having the buildings available. The hard part is operating these systems. And at First Steps, we rushed in and did a great thing, and it took us a couple of years to build the services around that facility. And it's really important to know that we have those operational capacities in place. And so I have quite a few questions around that, but could you speak briefly to your certainty of operations planning?
Yeah, the partnership with Homes Now extends beyond the donation of the cabins themselves. They plan to be here and available to help us, emulate the model that has been successful in the city of Bellingham with their 2 camps. The city has finally, bought on and invested in their model and, helping them to build additional cabins for a permanent location, or at least a location with a little bit more permanence. We plan to use their model through and through with their standard code of conduct that they use for the client or for the residents. Right down to the team itself. We've got dedicated members of their board that are, ready and prepared to assist our working board to make it a good solution for Skagit County.
Follow up later, but thank you for your good answers to my questions.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All right. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you so much.
Okay, and next up on your agenda is Community Action of Skagit County. And Bill Hinkle is here this evening. Where's our? You probably have it. Yeah, let's go on. Philippa.
Mayor and Council, Bill Hinkle, Community Action, thank you so much for hanging in there. It's so great to be amongst all these great projects. I did want to acknowledge Philippa Nye, who's our expert support on this from Allied Development, Community Development, is online, and it's going to take, we've got 7 slides. She's going to take slides 4 through 7, and it looks like we're starting on 7, so I'm going to back up here to our first one. Thank you all. We're going to talk about Colson View, which again is right by LaVenture Middle School. We were here a year ago talking about the same project, and it has a key partnership with the Mount Vernon School District and serving homeless school children and their families. There are a lot of subpopulations that Philippa will talk about. Again, thanks for your past support and encouragement. We're right now pushing about $7 million on this $10.2 million phase 1 of a 2-phase project. In phase 1, we're going to complete 24 units for families, and the whole project over the 2 phases will be 48 units. So we're talking about phase 1 tonight. Again, right over by LaVenture Middle School, and we'll go a little bit more deeply into the target populations, but just think about we're partnering with the school district, and they bring their support services. We bring our support services. And the real goal is going to be to break generational poverty and allow kids to have some stability in their school life, and their families to have stability as well. So I'm going to hand it over to Philippa to go into some of the project details, and I'll be here for questions as well.
Thanks, Bill. Philip and I with Allied Community Development, providing some project management assistance for the project. Some of you probably remember this project from last year. It's got mainly family size units, 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units. We've got half of the project is going to be set aside for farm workers, and then half for people who have special needs. We are building out some infrastructure like the parking lot for both phases of the project in phase 1, so that'll make it easier to do phase 2 and also less disruptive for the tenants. I think my main message today is just how ready this project is with the funding that we're requesting from Mount Vernon. We have so basically we're asking for about 10%, a little less than 10% of the overall project budget from Mount Vernon between this request and the one that was awarded last year. Since last year, we've raised about 60% of the funding, and so we're at about 68% total. We have one very large grant for $2.5 million that we have we feel really good about, because this is to the Federal Home Loan Bank, and they've been very actively dialoguing with us about it. So we think that grant will come through. At that point, we'll be over 90%. So we're really just looking for Mount Vernon funding and for funding from the Connecting Housing to Infrastructure program, which Mount Vernon is sponsoring an application to, that was discussed last week at the council meeting. So between those two and the large one from the Federal Home Loan Bank, we would be done and ready to build. Obviously waiting for permitting. We have a wetland that we need to mitigate, so we probably wouldn't break ground until next April. But we are proceeding with design. We're just getting our permitting process starting this month. And we just feel very optimistic about our chances of getting this going by mid next year with this assistance from the city. So
Down to about 30 seconds there.
yeah, and that's basically what I have to say. So thank you.
Fantastic. Bill, anything else before questions?
Thank you.
Okay. Questions for Bill or Philip? Yes, Mary.
I just wanted to make sure I understand, Bill, that the first phase is not going to include housing for children. Am I looking at that right? 12 units for people with special needs and with the descriptors, and then 12 units for farm workers. So the school kids, that's, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but the people that the kids in school, they're not included in phase one. I don't know how to say that other
They
way.
are included in phase one, but there'll be a lot of ways we'll have to work with the McKinney-Vento staff at Mount Vernon School District and some of our own internal staff to determine certain characteristics within the household. And so some of that is funding driven, funding realities that we'll have to have certain set-asides and hit certain targets. But again, that target demographic is school kids and their families. And
So-
some of them will have special needs and some of
Okay,
them will fit under
okay.
categories.
That's where I was trying to figure out where they fit into that
There'll
bucket.
be,
Okay.
farm worker families, so there'll be a number of.
I do understand then for the apartments, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, and 12 units for farm workers, children are included in those places. That's what I understand.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
Okay, I'm just trying to.
Just to answer the question.
Yeah, thank you. I'm just trying to figure out
Yeah.
that piece.
Some of that gets a little more complicated with funding, honestly. Yep.
So I was just, looking at it.
Okay.
Thank you for the presentation. I really appreciate it.
Bill, Philippa, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, and next we have Welcome Home Skagit, and Sarah Vogt is here. Present this. Oh, there you're right there.
Good evening. Thank you for meeting with us tonight, all of us really, and giving us the opportunity to share about our programs. We this evening are asking for some funding to support our vocational program. We provide safe, stable, and supportive environment for individuals experiencing homelessness at our I'm sorry, I should just read the slide. Provide safe, stable, experience, supportive environment, individuals experiencing homelessness, offer structured vocational growth opportunities through employment training and life skills development, promoting long-term stability by assisting participants in securing permanent housing through a transitional program.
The community need is a growing population experiencing homelessness in Skagit County, lack of transitional housing options that integrate vocational development, a high demand for safe, substance-free environments with supportive needs, and a need for programs that combine immediate shelter with long-term stability planning.
Our vocational program overview is designed to help participants gain job skills, work experience, and financial stability, provides educational workshops, one-on-one life recovery coaching, and care coordination for holistic support. Offers peers the opportunity to train as Washington State Certified Peer Counselors through Washington Commerce, emphasizes sobriety, dedication, and positive interactions, matches participants with jobs that align with their strengths to foster long-term success.
The vocational space overview and services. There are 5 pallet shelter units for eligible participants of the vocational program. It's going to be hosted by the First United Methodist Church in Mount Vernon. One of those shelter units is going to be used as a community space for kitchen services and things like that. This program is 90% self-governed for leadership and accountability. There's mandatory employment for the vocational space eligibility with ongoing support. It offers a temporary, stable living space for participants while working towards permanent housing solutions. It's not a drop-in encampment. It's a sober, structured transitional program. Participant services include, but are not limited to, care coordinators for goal setting and housing application assistance, our life recovery coaches who offer regular check-ins, workshops and classes related to employment, housing, and budgeting, etc., and bus passes for medical, employment, and housing-related needs.
Vetting process for the vocational space. They must pass a Washington State Patrol background check excluding registered sex offenders, arsons, and individuals with Class A felonies of violence. They need to meet with a care coordinator on a regular basis, and that can look different for each participant depending on what their employment or their goals are. Meet regularly with a life recovery coach, actively practices sobriety, is employed, and the selected participants agree to weekly community meetings and random and initial drug screening, random and monthly room searches.
This is a look at our vocational space. They're just small units for a safe, stable environment.
These are the same units that you guys just provided that special memorandum of understanding, so. Sure.
The vocational program and space impact and outcome goals. So our hope is to facilitate an increased number of participants successfully transitioning to permanent housing, strengthen life skills and financial stability among participants, reduce reliance on emergency shelters and public resources, safe transitional housing for employed individuals, builds workforce readiness and professional growth, encourages savings and financial responsibility, strengthens community trust through structured environment, increase participant employment retention and advancement, promote long-term self-sufficiency through skill development and stable income, and reduce return rates to homelessness.
So we currently had last year a total of 26 participants in our vocational program without the vocational space program, the units. And from those 26, 13 are housed, 8 so the 13 were housed and employed, 8 are just employed. 5 of our participants dropped out of the program and 5 are still currently in our program. So this is a 72.22% success rate. And we are asking, I don't think we put that, did we put that on
We
there?
didn't put a budget.
So we
or
are
anything.
asking for $68,000 for this program. Largely what that would cover is, so we have a dedicated care coordinator for our vocational program folks and classes and training.
Okay, great, thank you. Council questions? Sarah? Any council question?
No.
I think we're good. Well, thank you both.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Okay, next on the agenda, Children of the Valley, and Flora Lucatero is here. Okay. There she is. You're in here somewhere.
Good evening, Mayor Donovan and council members. I'm Flora Lucatero, and I'm the Executive Director for Children of the Valley, and I'm here to present to you a little bit about our program. And this is a volunteer of ours and partner, Jennifer Pittner. I'm going to start by showing you guys a video to give you some background and context into who we are and who we serve. Aims to serve the whole child through our 5 cornerstones of care: academic assistance, enrichment activities, social emotional learning, family support, and mentorship. Through regular communication with teachers, we support each child's academic needs, help them develop better study skills, increase knowledge of classroom curriculum, and boost self-confidence. COV strives to provide its children with a holistic approach to education, which means opening the door to enrichment opportunities that may not be offered to them otherwise. Real-world, hands-on experiences provide children with fun ways to explore and connect with their community, gain skills, find new interests, and experience life beyond school and home. As children grow, so does their need for understanding how to manage their often confusing emotions. We know a child's social emotional well-being is one of the largest factors in their ability to learn. Our goal at COV is to provide children with the necessary tools to achieve positive behavior goals, learn and show empathy for others, establish and maintain positive relationships, and make responsible decisions. At COV, we value meaningful relationships with the families and children we serve. Whether it's through direct support or connecting families to community resources, we help families through challenges that may arise in their lives. We know children have the best chance of success when their basic needs are met. Areas of support include utility and housing assistance, holiday gifts, food baskets, gift cards, and school-related expenses. To create positive and lasting change, we provide opportunities for our middle school, high school, and college students to give back by providing volunteer and employment opportunities. Our COV children also stay connected in this way. Community partnerships in higher education also allow COV to be a site for work-based learning, providing invaluable experience to our next generation of educators and immeasurable inspiration to COV children. We believe that every positive action taken on behalf of the children starts a ripple of change that reaches far and wide. By removing barriers, we empower children to graduate high school, break the cycle of poverty, and become the people they were meant to be. COV was started by our community, and we rely on our community support to sustain and grow. With you, our children continue to dream big. Thank you. So Children of the Valley is a trusted community-rooted organization serving our most under-resourced youth and families here in Mount Vernon. We are proud to be going on our 19th year of service and impact in our city. We provide critical preventative and direct support to our families experiencing homelessness, behavioral health challenges, including help with housing, food, utility support, academic assistance, and emotional development to stabilize families and keep kids on a positive educational and life path. The families we serve are often facing multiple barriers, and without early intervention, their children are at higher risk of disengaging from school or becoming involved in the juvenile justice system. This is why COV was started in 2006. This is exactly what 1590 funds were designed to address. By investing in prevention and providing direct support, students can stay in their home district. And with this, we can reduce long-term costs to the city, including emergency services, law enforcement, and incarceration, while creating safer and healthier outcomes for our youth. Children of the Valley has a deep relationship with this community and a proven track record of results, each year in Mount Vernon alone, serving over 110 students currently. COV is asking for $25,000 in services to support families that are experiencing homelessness and behavioral health challenges with direct support, ensuring that students can remain in their home district and accessing our program, providing transportation to and from our centers and to their home base, campground, shelter, or where they are residing. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Questions for Laura or Jennifer? Yes.
I just would like to say thank you for the great program you have in the community. Just to see those faces, there is so many faces. We are connected with them every single day, and plus serving mostly vulnerable families here in the community. Thank you very much for the great job you're doing there. And please just keep it up.
Thank you, Edith.
No questions? All right. Thank you both. Have a good evening.
Okay, and our final applicant is the Skagit YMCA, and Kent Lohman is here.
Council, Mayor, lovely to see you.
Okay.
Thank you for having me. I'm thrilled to share more about a new opportunity to house youth in our community. As many of you may know, there's not a ton of options for young people under the age of 18 in our community. We do have the Oasis Youth Shelter, which is opening soon, I promise. But that and DCYF CPS involvement are functionally some of the very few options that young people have when they're in crisis, when something goes wrong at home. We are proposing a new program to add to the mix that is a proven type of program that has been run all over the country, around the state, and that we would like to bring here to Skagit. So I just want to take a moment and root us in why youth, why invest in this particular idea. Over 200 high school students last academic year were identified as experiencing homelessness across Skagit County, and 95 of those youth came from the Mount Vernon School District alone. We also served at Oasis Youth Shelter 31 individual youth across 924 bed nights, and we know that number will grow once we open our new facility, our new 14-bed facility. However, we know that the need is great, and that this data from the school is still likely an undercount because of the reality that many youth get missed right in the system, or may not even be in school at all. So what is a host home? The concept of a host home is when a community member opens up a part of their home to temporarily place a young person there. And it is associated with a program. So the Y is committed to spearheading this program in our community. And although it's not a licensed program, the same way that the shelter is, it would be licensed with the state of Washington. There is some filing with the state that happens and reporting to the Office of Homeless Youth, some RCWs on the books to guide the structure of the program. There's a couple ways that youth might be placed in the program. Maybe they have somebody in their life already who could take on that role of host. So we would call this a kinship arrangement, say like a friend's parent or something could take them in. Or the youth who maybe is lacking any natural supports, maybe they don't have anyone locally or their family themselves is experiencing homelessness, then they could be matched with a volunteer who is trained by our program, just like our staff are, to take them in and house them temporarily. This is not the same as foster care. First of all, there's no loss of parental rights. This is a completely voluntary program, right? When CPS gets involved, sometimes there's, it's involuntary. Youth are taken away from their homes. But in this type of dynamic, youth would be consenting, the host would be consenting, and legal guardians also have to give consent. And so we would actually require a temporary power of attorney be part of the process and part of the documentation to ensure that that youth is allowed to be in that place. This kind of program also tends to serve youth who are never going to screen into or access child welfare systems, and that is frankly the vast majority of the youth that we work with at Oasis. There are a variety of responsibilities involved. Hosts obviously providing the safe and stable place, and then staff at the Y are really the ones working directly with the young person on a long-term solution, care coordination, getting their basic needs met, and ultimately the program holds that liability right of the needs of youth while in the program. Becoming a host is also a very thorough process. There's background checks, there's home interviews and inspections, training. Like I said, we would vet and train folks essentially like we do our staff who work in our shelter and our outreach programs. So our ask, it's a little cut off down there, is some funding to help support the operations of the program, to ensure that we can commit to a 3-year timeline initially to get it up and running. We would be excited if we could serve maybe around 10 youth in the first year, but the goal being perhaps around 16 each year after that. So around $200,000 per year to run the minimum structure we need for the program. But this would allow us to scale as we're able to add more funding streams to the program and expand it across the community. So I recognize this is a significant ask, but we are asking you to invest in youth futures and for a 3-year timeline. So I'm happy to take any questions. If you have
Questions for Kat?
Thanks.
I just have a real, would you go back to the last slide?
Yeah.
Can you tell me what the last line says?
It's $670,000 over the course of 3 years to provide a safe, stable host home pilot project.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yep. So we do have $170,000 already secured in private donation funding.
Can I ask you another question?
Yeah.
you said something about youth being, I'm not sure how you said it. It was about being able to take advantage of different programs? Terming in, or can you go back?
Yeah.
Keep going and I'll tell you.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
like I was gonna write it down,
Was
but
it
I didn't. You
somewhere
were
in
quick.
here? No,
Keep going.
probably the difference between a
Yeah, there you
foster
go.
care.
The serves youth who are never going to screen into. What does that mean?
Yeah, happy to expand. So we have a lot of youth that we interface with in our programs at the Y who, you know, their needs or the conflict at home does not rise to the level of CPS removing them from the home. And there are reasons for that. There are lots of good reasons for that. We know that youth do best when they can stay closest to their natural supports. And so the other benefit of this is also, right, youth staying in their community of origin and being able to tap into their support network rather than moving to a shelter out of county if there's no shelter beds available here, that kind of thing.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Gary.
So in the host home, it's probably not going to be just like an overnight stay, right? Because they'll probably go into the new, if they're just going to do one night. How long would the host people handle?
Commit to. Yeah, we would be looking at 6-month placements.
Okay.
And so our idea is to run this under the umbrella of Oasis and have it be kind of another option on the other side of a stay at Oasis. We actually want youth to stay at Oasis first, so we get to know them, we can match them well, figure out what their needs are to support them in a host home placement if they have no other option on the other side of a shelter stay.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. Great presentation. A lot of the other presentations are around construction projects. If they don't receive full funding, they're going to get loans. They're going to go after other funding sources. Are you able to be partially funded and still be successful?
Yes, it would likely just probably shorten the time frame of that commitment, but we are also, regardless, still actively seeking other funding sources as well.
Lovely. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Kat.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Process from here, Steve.
Thank you to all the applicants. I think that, and again, I think it was said that not envious of the council's position in weighing these terrific applications for very scarce and limited dollars, but so you get the big bucks, right?
Sure.
So next up, I think we'll just continue discussion and deliberation in some future meetings. And if there's any information I can provide or reach out to the applicants to get for you to make the decision process easier, please let me know. And I was hoping to have this done middle of next month, but we will operate at the pace that you said and are comfortable with. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Great. Any questions for Steve?
Comments,
Process?
questions?
Okay.
Thank
Thanks,
you very
Steve.
much.
Thanks for getting this item pulled together. And thanks to all the applicants for being here tonight, for adhering to the 5-minute, like almost perfectly. All of you, very well done. That was impressive. Some great projects. Okay, that is the end of our new business. For item 7, I'll ask our city attorney to please call the mayor and city council into executive session.
Thank you, Mayor. I invite the mayor and members of city council to now meet in an executive session for a period of 15 minutes to discuss with legal counsel matters relating to enforcement action, litigation, or potential litigation to which the city, the governing body, or member acting in an official capacity is or is likely to become a party when public knowledge regarding such discussions are likely to result in either adverse legal or financial consequences to the city pursuant to RCW 4230-110 subsection 1I, and moreover, to discuss issues related to collective bargaining sessions and planning or adopting strategy or positions related to collective bargaining, which is exempt from the Public Meetings Act pursuant to RCW 4230-140 subsection 4. We would reconvene after 15 minutes at 8:51, and no final action after.
It's not you, Kevin. It's executive session. And with that, we will adjourn the City of Mount Vernon City Council meeting for Wednesday, August 27, 2025 at 8:36 p.m.